February 21st, 24th. Jeez, keep saying that. 2022. Good morning. Let's head into the KUM News Link Zoom room where Senator Clynt Ridgell is standing by. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
Just real quick, just wanted to touch base with you on these cannabis rules and regs, which I understand they were autographed by the AG yesterday.
Yes, that's correct. The Attorney General signed off on them, I believe it was yesterday, yeah.
And then, so now that they're headed to the legislature, can you kind of outline the process of what could happen at the legislature with these cannabis rules and regs?
Sure. So once they get officially transmitted to the legislature, the legislature can either adopt them or amend them or reject them. But the good news, I think, for people following this is that it starts the 90-day rule. That's part of the the Guam administrative adjudication law, or Administrative Adjudication Act. Some people call it the AAA process. There's a 90-day rule that if the legislature doesn't do anything for 90 days with it, that it automatically lapses into effect.
Senator, so how do you guys address this before the body? Does it have to be placed on the agenda or anything?
No, it does have to have a public hearing. So the first thing that has to happen is by law, there's public hearing is required on it. And then from there, again, it's up to the legislature how to proceed. If the legislature wants to, amend the rules or reject them or adopt them as is. And then there's nothing that says it has to go before the body. And so again, the good news is if nothing happens because there's whatever reasons, it's being stalled for whatever reasons, or there's some kind of hang up for whatever reason in the legislature, then in 90 days, they lapse into effect.
What if the legislature votes to reject the rules? What happens then?
That's a good question. I'm not sure what if it's rejected. I'm assuming that either the board has to come up with another set of rules. I'm not 100% sure because I don't think any rules that I'm aware of have been just outright rejected.
Right,
usually if there's something wrong with it, usually the legislature will amend whatever parts that there's a disagreement about.
Right.
So that's a good question. I don't know exactly I don't even know if that's happened, if just the rules were entirely rejected.
Wow.
I think usually if that happens, then it's usually because the senators have their own rules and regs that they want to substitute with. Their own set of rules.
So the public hearing, that's included in the 90 days, so it's just 90 days flat.
It's just 90 days.
Okay, and then
you have to have a public hearing within. Don't quote me because it's been a while since I read the law, but I think it's 75 days or something. So it's you have 75 days to hold a hearing, and then in 90 days it'll just lapse.
Wow.
But the 75 doesn't have anything to do with the 90.
Okay.
The 75 is just have a hearing.
Gotcha.
If that's the correct number of days, but I'm not 100% sure 75 is the number. It might be 60 or something. I have to double check.
Well, okay, just in 90 days or whatever, if they are approved, then is there a timeline for the implementation, or is it just it is what it is, however long it takes?
Yeah, well, the good question. Basically, what would happen is once there's rules and regs approved, there's still a few other things that I'm hoping will happen before the 90 days. For example, really securing and solidifying a laboratory, because that's a requirement. However, I do keep hearing repeatedly from numerous people that there are investors ready to bring in a laboratory to Guam. In fact, I keep hearing that that there's more than one that's interested in bringing a laboratory to Guam. So I'm hoping now that they see that these rules and regs have progressed to this point, that they'll start working on applying for the lab. The other thing is once the rules and regs lapse into effect, then it's a matter of whether or not the Cannabis Control Board has all of and the other agencies that are involved have all of their paperwork ready, sort of like the application process, right?
Right.
And make sure they have all that. But that's kind of what the rules and regs are there to start. to set up the process, to explain what the process is. When you're going to apply, where do you go? Who do you have to get approval from? Who has to inspect your facility, etc.
Wow. So I guess just your thoughts. I mean, it's not the last stop, right? But I guess we're one step closer.
Yeah, I'm really happy because we're getting a lot closer. And this part, the reason I'm happy about it is at least for this part, there's that 90-day rule. So there's no way that anything, should be able to really slow it down at the legislature, at least. So, because sometimes if there's a disagreement in the legislature, maybe things won't move because there's not enough votes to support it, for example.
Right.
So this prevents that from happening. It's not like if there's not enough votes to support adopting the rules of the legislature, that will not stall it. You see what I'm saying? In 90 days, it'll lapse into effect.
Wow. It's just, 90 days. Is that April 24th or that week? It's too bad we can't get it on April 20th. That would
On April 20th, I know.
Dude.
It's not going to be April 20th.
Dude. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Senator Clynt Ridgell. Yabbit comments on our Facebook Live. Print the public notification on hemp paper. Oh, isn't that cute? Hey, let's do Burger King's Cover Me, guys. They're doing the Double Whopper Junior Meal at Burger King. Remember, Lenten season is coming up, which means we're going to be celebrating the BK Big Fish. Cover Me is also brought to you by Docobonk Pacific. You can check out their affordable